This is heavy.
Well, cool, man. Well, thanks for coming to hang out. We've got Peter from Faith Skate Supply.
Yeah, thank you.
It's a big day.
It's a huge day. So very
I'm
excited.
I'm probably more excited. So.
But yeah, I think it'd be cool. I'm gonna steal a page out of the non-club playbook and just kind of ask you, first of all, how you got started in skateboarding, and then ultimately starting a shop in downtown Birmingham.
I mean, I'll show you my age. I got started when I went to the movie theaters and I watched Back to the Future on the big screen.
So that classic.
That shows my age. Yeah.
I think we have that on VHS over there.
I don't know if we have Back to the Future.
Okay.
No.
We need to.
Never mind.
It's a must-have.
I love Back to the Future.
But I listen to like the 9 Club a lot, and like some of the older guys, that's the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, Back to the Future just changed our world.
That scene where he's like skidding behind the car and all that stuff.
Yeah. So we did the whole. I don't know if it was the real like. I got my 2x6 and put roller skates on
about
it.
to say, man. Yeah.
Not quite that old.
Not
but,
Lucero old.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we did something of that. There was like some janky garage store board sitting in my buddy's basement, and we just started skating after that. Grew up in Vestavia. There was no skaters or anything, which is kind of cool in a way because I made friends outside of, you know, my little city. I skated with the Hoover guys and Bluff Park guys more than anything. And then like Terry Jackson, the guys that now do Nonstop Art, you know, they grew up more out in like Roebuck. And, you know, once we all got to a certain age, around, you know, 15 or so, we could convince our parents to drop us off in downtown Birmingham. That's when we all met each other. It was skating around like downtown and Lynn Park and all those spots. That was probably mid-90s, I guess.
Yeah. So when you're getting into skateboarding, is there anybody like the local hobby shop or anybody where you can buy like skate supply and stuff?
I mean, oddly, yeah, there was a shop called Competition Skates.
Okay.
And
I heard of that one.
There was a place called the Skate Station, which is now an antique mall right there by the Galleria. It used to be a skating rink. Might not even be an antique mall now. It might be a storage place. But anyway, it was a big roller skating rink at the time.
Okay.
And then on Saturday nights, they would do skateboard night, and they had a half pipe in there called the Big Dog.
The Big Dog.
That's pretty cool.
So my next door neighbor at the time was my best friend, and we grew up skating, and we convinced his mom to take us, and you had to get a membership, and his last name was Peters, and my first name was Peter. Of course, I was too young and had no ID or anything, but his mom signed for me as her son.
Okay.
So my name was Peter Peters.
For insurance reasons, I guess.
Yeah. The owner just got a kick out of that because he was, you know, it was like, your mom did that to you? And I was like, oh, yeah. His name was Jack Daniels, though. So,
Okay.
So it kind of was cool. We had a little rhetoric going, but that's my first skate, you know, starting out skating and stuff. You know, back then, Hoover and Vestavia was huge, you know, to you. As far as like, I didn't know what happened outside of that.
Yeah.
Outside of, you know, I didn't know about downtown Birmingham or anything like that.
Sure.
Because I was, 13 or 14.
Now, who are you? I guess you're watching skate videos and stuff, and who are you idolizing or?
Well, back then, yeah, like skate videos weren't necessarily readily available, but you'd go to the Blockbuster wasn't even around, so I'd go to Robbie's rental VHS rental place, and they had like
Do you have any skate videos, man? Please?
Yeah, they had like Bones Brigade, Future Primitive, and you know, the original ones of those, and Sick Boys, and some of those videos. So I'd rent those out every week, and but yeah, it was all, you know, back in the 80s, like Natas Coppice, and I gravitated to the street skaters because of course we didn't have like half pipes to learn on much, and the Big Dog I was not messing with.
The Big Dog.
How big was it?
Dude, I saw a photo of it, a few years back, and it looks like a ditch. But in my mind, it was like
not like the geometry.
In my mind, it was a vert ramp. I mean, it probably was 8 foot tall, but the transitions were so mellow. Although Steve Caballero went there and he did air out and hit the ceiling somehow, and it had to be a 12-foot ceiling. No, more than that, because you're standing on top.
Like in a warehouse, I would imagine.
Yeah. So, so somehow you could click out airs on it, but to me, I was not messing with that ramp.
Yeah.
So
We don't have a lot of vert around here.
Yeah, we never have had a lot of vert. However, the mini ramp era in skateboarding was awesome.
Yeah.
And when I would get out of school in Vestavia, we would just go to Bluff Park, and there was like 8 mini ramps. So we just skate from door to door to my different
Just
friends.
people built
mini
their-
ramp. Yeah,
yeah,
just
okay.
different homies that skated. They all would build a mini ramp out in the woods or in their backyard somewhere.
Sweet.
So yeah, I skated a lot of mini ramps, being like 5 foot tall ramps and stuff. But Birmingham never had anything too big. I mean, there was back in the 80s, the Brickyard and stuff, but that was above my pay grade too.
Man.
You know? Yeah. I was just a little daycare kid trying to get my feet wet.
Well, I was the kid that had a mini ramp. My dad ordered some plans for Christmas one year because I'd really gotten into skating. He's like, man, you need like a ramp. He's like, let's build one. And I thought he was just kind of talking. And then he ordered some ramp plans for me. Opened them up on Christmas. He's like, we're going to build you a ramp in the yard. It was like the coolest thing in the world.
Awesome.
We still have those plans.
We were
What
talking
era
about
is
it
this?
earlier.
Like late 90s, early 2000s?
Yeah,
You guys
I
were
was
young.
12, so yeah, late 90s.
Okay,
late
cool.
90s, early
Yeah.
2000s, yeah, something like that. And
That's rad.
I grew up in a small town, Pleasant Grove, out
Okay.
towards like Hughtown and stuff.
Yeah.
So like the road that went to my house wasn't even paved for like the longest time. So you talk about being a skateboarder in the deep south and not even having like concrete, So my dad felt bad and he was like, yeah, we're going to build
Gotta have
a little
something
mini
for
ramp.
you.
Yeah.
Right.
Cause he could tell I was just like, as soon as I got my first skateboard, I was just like glued to it. And, was basically riding it all the time. So
Yeah. We did the stereotypical like steal wood from the local construction site and build a quarter pipe and jump ramps and all everywhere, and so a lot of that went down. And my mom drove a Mazda 626 and I remember loading up wood on the roof of her car.
So it sounds like your parents were pretty supportive.
I mean, my mom was a single mom, worked all the time, so I was kind of a latchkey kid, and I got away with murder though. Yeah, I mean, my mom's awesome.
Yeah, sweet. That's good.
She didn't come down on me too hard.
Yeah, I know. I don't know, man. It's just like one thing I've from listening. You mentioned earlier the bunt and listening to Ben Gillies podcast on there.
Oh, yeah.
And also Jamie Thomas's non-club podcast.
Yeah.
What resonated with me listening to them, both being from the South and Alabama and growing up, was just how much, I guess, how deviant the idea of skateboarding was even back then. And I know from personal experience, being a skateboarder with my little small group of friends, we were like made fun of constantly.
Yeah,
and
I mean, the
teased.
stereotypes are real.
Yeah,
Here,
and
it
then
was-
I would hear about like Chris Cole talking about growing up on the West Coast, and it's like everybody skateboarding was just like part of the norm, just out
Right.
there, and skate parks on every corner, and it just sucked, man. I just felt like, why did I have to be born here in Alabama? Like,
yeah, but I think that's what bred some of the talent here,
Okay, yeah.
Like, it's kind of like a pit bull, you had nothing, you're beat down, you're skating crap, and you just have the animal mentality to,
Sure.
like Jamie and Ben and James, they're all jumpers on big stuff,
Yeah.
So, but never had the smooth ground to learn the most technical tricks, I guess.
Sure, yeah. So anyways, you're skating. How long was it before you started kicking around the idea of, hey, I think I'd like to maybe start a shop?
So the skate shop Competition Skates I told you about in Hoover, the guy was like a roller speed skater or something. He wasn't a skateboarder. Okay. And this was the kind of the transitional era between vert skating dying off and street skating starting. So they had a vert ramp out in Roebuck when I was around 16. Back then 1 year seemed like 10 years to now. So
Sure.
I was there nonstop, but I was the guy skating the parking lot with Terry and some of the Roebuck guys. So that guy hated that. He hated the street skaters, because suddenly this $20,000 vert ramp was not getting used anymore, and we were just lurking in the parking lot skating. So he closed down for whatever reasons. I think he just was over it.
Yeah.
Skateboarding kind of died off too. Tony Hawk and the Bones Brigade, they weren't making millions anymore. Whatever, they were kind of trying to adapt to street skating too.
Sure.
And they never quite adapted. And then there was a lull in like the early 90s, which is also kind of my fondest memories. Skateboarding just it goes in real cyclical times of like 10 years ups and downs, you know?
Yeah.
So this was the downtime where, you know, they showed like Tony Hawk driving around some crappy van just trying to make demos happen anywhere, you know, and he was skating parking lots and trying to skate street, and same with a lot of the older vert pros. So anyway, competition skates closed down. Then we ushered in the era, which was kind of like 92 till infinity, the Beastie Boys and Souls of Mischief and hip hop and skateboarding, and kind of the heydays that everybody talks about with, you know, the different times in California, you know, like, the Tim and Henry days and all the Plan B, and everybody quit the big brands and started the small brands, and World Industries came up. And anyway, I mean, same kind of thing happened in Alabama in every skate community, I guess, where vert skating went out, and then these new kids came in. They're all wearing Beastie Boys baggy shorts and looking like Alvin and the Chipmunks. And I mean, I totally look like Alvin and the Chipmunks. And we were all, that's when we went downtown, you know, and Lynn Park was our whatever plaza they had back then. EMB, you know?
Yeah.
So Lynn Park was our EMB, and
ledges and
stairs and just everybody from everywhere just met up, and, you know, hijinks happened. So anyway, there was no skate shop. So there was a skate shop in Fort Walton Beach, Florida called Beach Plus.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, we would order from them nonstop mail order. Like,
really? So nobody.
This is
around.
Before mail order hardly existed. You would do the 1-800 number.
Yeah.
Or you would send your money in. Your
Then
money
wait.
Hope that it
hope
comes.
some board came, you know.
Oh
like
my
this
gosh.
pre-internet, of course, anything like that. It was not very easy. But we would go down there all the time too, and just be the lurk rats at the skate shop, you know. Wouldn't even go to we would sleep on the beach. Screw the beach. We're out there at the skate shop all day.
Yeah.
So after a while, like
How old are you about this time?
17, 18, okay. Yeah. So I'm graduating high school, and I started UAB for business because I was like, man, I kind of want to like learn to own my own business someday, and owning a skate shop would be awesome.
Yeah.
Even though it's so far out of there's no way I could do it. So I, you know, just did that, and then skating at Lynn Park on a Saturday with 50 of the bros, some flyers start showing up saying Faith Skate Shop, opening in November of 1995, I guess. Yeah. So I'm like, what the fuck is this, dude?
Okay, so this was you just got the flyer.
I just got the flyer.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Wow.
Well, kind of prequel to that, Terry from Nonstop Art, he was kind of my ride or die buddy. We were into graffiti and painting trains and getting into trouble, but we would meet up at Tom and Jerry's in Southside every night and skate for like hours, and then go to Booty Deck and Glass Elevator Deck and all these
elevators,
parking
man.
decks,
Yeah,
and
classic.
You know, and then, you know, midnight or 1, everybody would start going home. Me and him would go out and paint trains and get into graffiti trouble. But he and I also were kind of like the movers and shakers of like, we're going to do a skate jam at Lynn Park. So we would just pass out flyers, and next thing you know, we'd build some ramps and take them up to Lynn Park and have a barbecue pit, and there would be 50, 60 people there. And
are y'all getting this like approved?
No,
hell no.
Hell no. We
just making it happen.
I mean, back then Birmingham was deserted on a weekend.
I was about to say, man,
like,
you couldn't get away with that now.
No.
Back then, have a grill.
Back then, it was like anything we wanted to do. I mean, we painted graffiti anywhere we wanted to. Like, there were no cameras, there was no cars on the streets. You know, the cops would like get after us at night, and they're like, the only people out here are cops and crooks, and you're not a cop.
Yeah,
so you're a crook. And we're like, no, we're skateboarding. So nobody around, you know. So we would just take over Lynn Park on a Sunday because everybody's off work and nobody's around. So, so we started doing skate jams, just random stuff. We did a little zine called Bent Rail, which was skateboarding and graffiti on trains.
Dang, that's so. You still have any of those?
Terry probably does. I have one probably, but I
gotta take a look at that.
That's pretty rad.
I've been through so many relationships and homes that I've lost everything.
Oh,
so
dang.
It's in a box somewhere.
I hope so, and I know Terry's probably got some of the gems, some good stuff.
All right, Terry Brickell.
Yeah.
Final one for us.
Yeah, get Terry on here. He's got some good stories, I'm sure. But anyway, I got in trouble for graffiti. And that was kind of a wake up call. So I just was skateboarding and going to school. And
Did you just get caught like out at the train station one night or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like we painted this one spot so much that we had a
They
SWAT.
were waiting.
They were waiting on us. They had the SWAT team on top of the trains just waiting. They're like, all right, I hear cans
11 o'clock.
drop down on us, and I started hyperventilating, and next thing you know, I'm in big trouble.
Dang.
So,
Set you straight.
yeah.
Skateboarding only.
Not that I ever thought I was doing
Right,
anything
right.
so bad. I was painting crappy trains.
Yeah.
I was doing art, you know.
No, like
I was
outside
like-
of somebody's house or
I
something.
mean, it's cool. It's like moving art goes across the country.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't see it as vandalism. You know, I wouldn't paint churches or marble or any kind of nice stuff.
Sure.
You know, trains are just trains.
They're meant to be painted.
But if you paint over the numbers on trains, that's how you get busted.
Oh yeah, everybody know, even I know that. You got to paint around the numbers.
Yep.
And shoot.
Train comes in with numbers. Train goes out with no numbers. Who did that?
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, where was I? Oh, skating Lynn Park, like we did every Saturday. The flyer shows up for Faith Skate Supply, opening up where Ryan and them from Good Neighbor said they called the lady about having a tattoo shop by Fat Sam's.
Oh, okay.
That was where the original Faith was.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. And prequel to that, I at one point had made phone calls and was trying to talk to them about leasing a spot for a skate shop because I had my mom kind of convinced, maybe, give me some direction in life. And they were like, no way. No way, we don't want skateboarders. No insurance, no, forget that. And same kind of thing that happened to them where the lady's like, no, we don't want tattoo shop.
We don't want your
We don't
kind
want
around
those
here.
types.
Yeah, you see that weird guy standing out front all day on 20th Street.
Yeah,
Same
yeah.
kind of thing. They didn't want the bad element. And then, flash forward a year later, flyer shows up at Lynn Park, exact location that I had already called about.
But you had no idea.
I had
like,
no
who was
idea.
behind it.
So I was like, this is the address I called about. And they shot me down. I even had money from my mom agreeing to be my co-signer and backer for a skate shop.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to call it the Apple Room, though,
The
or
Apple-
or Magic City All-Stars Skate Supply.
Okay.
Skate Magic City All. That was
Magic
some
City
graffiti.
All-Stars.
That was some graffiti stuff.
Okay.
Mouthful right there.
Okay, so you get the flyer. and
Yeah,
you're
so I
like,
get the flyer, and I'm like, I got to figure this out. So I go directly there. I start peeping in the windows. What the hell's going on? I meet this dude named Ken, who I don't know if it was that day or if I just lurked there several days till I figured it out. But Ken Liu moved here from like Boston or something, and he kind of had a wealthy family and decided he wanted to open a skate shop. And so, of course, I had to know everything I could about it. I had to be a part of it. Anything I could do, I'd sweep his floors, whatever. Just let me hang out and help in any way possible.
So what was his background? You say he's from Boston? And
Yeah, I think he was from Boston.
I'm going to move to Birmingham, Alabama and open up a skateboard shop.
Yeah, like him moving here. I don't want to throw him under the bus, but Ken's an awesome guy. And up in Nashville, I think it kind of was like a rehabilitation kind of
Okay.
situation to move here.
Yeah.
And then his family was backing him. And then, so
It's a
the
rad thing to do.
That's
yeah.
what I was about to say. It's pretty rad.
Yeah, so this shop opened up, and I was like destined to be his right hand man, any way I could. So after that, it was like writing for the shop team and building a team, So it was a weird time where at that time, this dude Carlo and this dude Joe both moved here from DC and somewhere in Texas.
Okay.
And they just ripped compared to anybody else in Birmingham. They were just like we expected Henry Sanchez to look.
Mm-hmm.
They were. They're
actually okay.
They're the real deal. Like
Wow.
wow. So they were on the team, and then some other people, kind of got on.
How big
well.
is the scene then? I mean,
It was so small, but so huge to us, I guess.
Okay.
Where it was like, I'm not missing Saturday at Lynn Park.
sure.
They could be there, Joe and Carlo just ripping, and so are the other homies from Roebuck and East, around Birmingham.
So Lynn Park was the place.
Lynn
to be,
Park
yeah.
was our Embarcadero, I guess you'd say. We were mimicking, playing imagination. But some good skateboarding
Yeah,
did
there's
go
some
down.
good skateboarding there. There's some good ledges. and
They
stuff.
were rad skaters around that. It was the whole plaza days, I guess. So then the shop opened up, and I just was like, I'm destined to be his right-hand man, and this is kind of my calling, and this is where I tried to open a shop.
Yeah.
And luckily, he picked a rad name that's resonating with people.
That is cool. Yeah.
Which I still get asked about every day, and I'm like, it's a weird one. But, yeah, so I was just destined to, and like I said, everything felt like 10 years back then.
Mm-hmm.
Literally within 10 to 12 months, Ken was over it.
Really?
He wanted to go to music school somewhere else, and his family was going to pay for it. And
did he skate, or was he just kind of like?
He did skate, but he was more in the back then. The rave scene was a big deal.
The rave
DJs and stuff. Yeah,
that's it. That was where he was.
That was a kind of a murky area for us because there was some rave gear at the initial Faith shops.
What?
There was some graffiti spray paint tips and magazines at all the original shops too, but. Yeah, that was murky, but
okay.
We hadn't found our identity yet.
Right.
So he was over it, and at the time I had been working for him for $20 a day.
I was about to say, so you came on board shortly after he started.
I lived off of when you're a college student, you get offers for a credit card for $500.
Yeah,
I got one of those when I started UAB.
Like any responsible,
so if I needed gas or a snack, I just would charge that sucker.
Are you living downtown, or are you just where are you at these days?
Nah, I'm living with my mom.
Okay. So you're still fresh out of high school at this time.
Yeah, still just
and then trying to figure out UAB.
Yeah, and I'm going around UAB, going to school when I can, doing anything I can not to be there too much, but getting through. I'm the best C student.
Just enough.
Yeah, I do just enough. So I had made it to my junior year before I finally quit. But likewise in this time, that's when Ben Gilly, who's like a veteran professional skateboarder he's not from Alabama, but he's from Mississippi.
Well, we claim him.
We claim him. Yeah.
He'll claim it too. So, Ken was throwing a contest, and he actually had some connections to Slap magazine back then.
Sweet.
And some of those dudes came in town to cover the contest, and then the Invisible team was going to do a demo too. So it was the biggest thing for Alabama at the time. Woo. So Ben and his boys came over from Mississippi, and I immediately met him, and we became super tight friends. He stayed the night with me all weekend, him and his friends, and we built all the ramps, and we ushered in the big contest and demo, which was just huge for us back in 1995.
Dude, I would love to see some pictures and stuff.
Yeah, it was.
Man, that'd be so cool.
The contest was right in the middle of UAB. There's probably a huge building there now.
Yeah,
but so some of the original raddest guys were there, which was they were in an RV on tour, and the RV was painted all crazy like a monster or something. Yeah. And then that article made it in Slap magazine. That was huge. But that's my first introduction to Ben and our friendship. We had, and then after that, Ben's like living in a trailer in Mississippi, and he's like, screw this. I was like, come to the big city, dude.
Yeah, man.
You can ride for Faith, and I'll make sure this happens, because you're the man. And so he moved here. Basically, on a whim, just packed up his Volkswagen Bug and took off.
Dude.
His home life wasn't the best, so he just left and, found a home here.
Sweet.
And then was by my side the whole time. Somewhere in there, I moved to Southside, and he basically was right alongside too.
So what was the transition between Ken to you? Ken was like, I'm done with this. And
so that probably happened right around whatever I said, 10 months. So September, October.
Okay. So not even a year in.
Not even a year in.
Dang.
I told my mom the opportunity. She said,
I gotta have it.
She believed in me. Yeah. And all it took was buying the inventory. And that was it. So my mom loaned me $5,000. And
wow.
Ken gave me all the showcases and registers and junk, and but still the landlord sucked. So the next spot where Good Neighbor is now, 23rd and Mag, that everybody's heard about, where y'all were talking Cave Nines being, and Faith was there, and Inkwell and Arrow Child, is just kind of an epic corner. There was a store called the Rorschach, yeah. Okay. It was basically a head shop and a raver store too.
Now, was that little house across, or
no?
Was the actual
that was the actual location.
corner location? Okay.
Ken had, being in the rave scene and stuff, he had already talked to them, and they had a little around the corner, which was actually Magnolia, I guess. They had what was their storage space, but it had a storefront, a door and 2 windows, sort of. And it's been a barbershop at one point since then. $250 a month rent, and I could move there. So I was like, $250 a month? Yeah, I can do that.
Swing that.
Yeah. So that was my introduction to owning a shop. No massive overhead or anything like that. It was built from ground up, like $5,000 loan, $250 rent, and that's about all I had to do.
I just need to sell enough gear to cover rent and maybe make a little spending money on the side.
Yeah. I mean, there was no spending money. I just basically like started with 6 boards. 6 turned into 8. 8 turned into 10. At its highest at that point, you didn't have to have that much stuff. 12 to 15 boards on the wall, 6 sets of trucks, and 6 sets of wheels, and some raver gear over here, and some spray
fog machine,
some spray paint tips, and you're set. So
that's cool.
Yeah, we just kind of built from that, and just like that, Ken was kind of out of the picture. It was weird,
Yeah.
But I thank him. He was kind of like my angel coming in to give me direction in life, I guess.
Kind of got it started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he
pulled the trigger.
He poked me and got it going. So, and he probably did it better than I would. We would have Magic City All-Stars skate shop right now.
They'd still be around 25 years later.
Or the Apple Room, depending on which way we went. It was going to be the Apple Room with a coffee shop. But that was just way too far-fetched for me to do.
Skateboards and coffee.
Still rad, though.
Yeah. Would have been, it would work now. Apple Room, like skate shop with coffee shop, and it would work now for sure. So
skate shops are so sophisticated now. Like I've seen like just different shops on the internet and stuff, and it is like you're walking into Apple for like a skate front. And I don't know. I always really liked, coming up in skateboarding. I got my first skateboard when I was like 12 years old, I think. And I was expecting just like a cheap Walmart board. And I think my dad actually knew enough about skateboarding. He's like, no, let's get you something decent. He may have even came to faith and picked it up.
Yeah,
so my first board was a Powell. And it was like a complete. And I was completely blown away. I was like,
no, we didn't sell Powell completes, man.
You didn't sell Powell completes? Oh, man. Well, I don't know.
No, I don't know. A lot of the pre-built completes weren't around back. It just wasn't a prevalent thing.
Yeah, so this was, I don't know where he got it. But either way, I was better to.
I'm just talking out of my ass.
Anyways, I was glad to have it over like a Wally
Hell yeah.
board.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I mean, that was my first boards too. It came from surf and ski in the Galleria, or Robbie's, which was before Champs and stuff. But I don't know.
So you definitely had a really cool look with the shop. And once you, I guess, took over after Ken, is Ben working with you? I mean, do you have, is it just you solo running the store?
Yeah, it was pretty much me solo. I couldn't pay anybody to work for sure. Plus, it's the only place I want to be. So I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
And Ben was there every minute he could, just helping out. It wasn't about money at all. It was about having a clubhouse, and building the scene. So during that time, the Ghetto Banks in Southtown Projects, which is a world famous skate spot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They were vacant because it was being renovated. So for a good year, it was vacant and being renovated. So we were like, we're going to build a fucking skate park over there.
Okay.
So we built pyramid, quarter pipes, all sorts of stuff there, flat bars, bank ramps, everything.
Were the buildings there and they were just empty, or they hadn't built the buildings yet?
The buildings were there. They were just gutted and being renovated on the inside.
Okay.
I guess they had been there since the 70s or 60s, and it was time to.
So it's always been a housing project.
Yeah, yeah. The Ghetto Banks themselves have been there since 1973, probably, or something in the 70s.
Which is like a basketball course or something.
Yeah, it was made. It was called the Zolly C. Montgomery Skate Court.
Oh, okay.
So it was made for roller skating, more so.
Gotcha.
But yeah, hopefully it's getting torn down soon. Not hopefully. I hate it. I hate it. It's getting torn down soon. But hopefully there's, I don't know, if we could get it a historic landmark of some sort.
Yeah.
I think it's past that, though.
So y'all built a skate park there.
So we built a skate park there. Basically, the Ghetto Bank, or the projects were all fenced off. So we just cut a hole in the fence and started bringing wood in,
Just like a DIY spot.
The first DIY of its kind, I guess, for Birmingham. And that was an awesome time. And then, the time set sail once they started reopening
hey, what's all this wood doing here?
Yeah,
here,
like it was done.
Seems to be a common theme with all the DIY spots that pop up around town.
Yeah, and it was a weird thing where the projects were halfway closed, like the backside where the ghetto banks were closed and being renovated. So we threw a contest there even, but then and that was weird having 100 people there for a contest. And then all of a sudden these rocks start falling from the sky. And little kids were throwing rocks at us.
Oh, man.
And it was like, oh, God, we're out of our element. And I had parents there and girls and it's just people watching. And kids. And could have gone really bad. Could have gone really bad. But anyway, that was an era of when Faith was there in the little bitty store. I mean, it was probably the size of this little corner of your basement.
Okay.
It was so small.
It's very small.
Yeah. It was $250. But business started getting good, which is Birmingham. I mean, we've always had ups and downs with business, just like skateboarding does. Mm-hmm. So late 90s, ushering in early 2000, I guess, skateboarding starts blowing up some. This is
this pre Tony Hawk Pro Skater? Or is
this is still Zero just came out, and Jamie Thomas is on fire, and Andrew Reynolds is
the end.
Yeah,
that whole
around then, and crew jeans with tight fitting pants came out. It was still neat because we had at least made a name for ourselves where the internet wasn't around, mail order wasn't around. We were about the only skate shop in Alabama.
Okay.
So anybody in Anniston or Gadsden or anywhere wanted to learn or buy from a skate shop, they had to come to Alabama. So they just people in the rural areas of Alabama, they're like, I'm going to the big city to go shopping at the Galleria. Yeah. It was that kind of mindset, I guess. So my shop was busy.
Yeah.
And the Rorschach, they were getting a divorce, I think, because it was a husband and wife combo. And raving set sail, maybe. I don't know. Wasn't quite as popular. So they were like, do you want to take over the big space? And I was like, hell yeah.
So they offered it to you?
They offered it to me, $750 a month. And I'm like, dude, business is moving. Shoes were coming out. This is when Emerica came out and DC was popping, Minnick Motti, all those. This is during that era, and we started carrying all of that and getting to expand our stuff, getting out of the rave scene and out of the graffiti scene. So
we focusing primarily on
just skateboarding, because I had built a team too, and filming, was like, ooh, if you ever want to make in skateboarding, you got to film a video part. So we started filming a shop video, which was called Faith 2000. It came out in 2000.
So that's the one with you handed me some magnets earlier. One of the had all the crosses on the front. Was that the?
Yeah, that's probably that one.
Okay,
yeah. It was our full length, and it was probably 12 minutes, and half of it was slow mo. And
started with that Rolling Stones song, "The Paint It Black."
Yeah, that's that one. And then a lot of the tricks you'd see twice,
just different angles,
or slow mo at the end. Yeah. It was during the era of Transworld putting videos out that really had these feelings and emotional kind of stuff.
Yeah, sure, man.
So we were piggybacking on that, and then that became Ben Gillies sponsor me video basically.
Yeah,
for Black Label. So he got on Black Label, which was just huge.
That was huge. So this is about the time that I've been in skateboarding for maybe a year or two at this point. And so I remember watching the Faith video on repeat constantly, and we were always repping Faith Skate Supply and everything.
Cool.
And then
it meant so much back then. It's kind of weird. Now we have Instagram, and I don't care about it. I can't. None of it's I'll bring that back up. But I remember when Ben got on label, and then the Label Kills video came out. And we were just so stoked on Black Label. That was the only board I wanted to ride. And dude, we sold. I mean, back then, we sold so much Black Label stuff.
Dude,
just the connection to Ben.
Sure.
Because before that it was Jamie, and actually during that time, a lot of the Dothan homies that had a skate park down there called Sanctuary that we made friends with. Sanctuary closed down, and all the Dothan homies that were ripping, which were Jamie's buddies, all moved to Birmingham. So Jamie was coming through too.
Oh, that's cool.
So it was kind of just a rad time. And then Jamie took Ben under his wing, with monster trucks and some other stuff, Circa footwear and stuff.
Yeah.
And Ben just blew up, and then I'm selling boards left and right from Zero and
Yeah,
Black
dude.
Label.
Oh, that's so cool.
And then they're all wanting to do demos, and we're doing demos, and it was just a kind of the heyday of skateboarding for us. And that was, pretty rad. And then we got focused after that on doing a reel video, which we call Reason to Believe, which seems like it was way later, but it came out in 2005. So I guess we started filming. Ben had to film anyway for Black Label. So over that time, he filmed Reason to Believe and Blackout, I guess. I don't know.
Just filming. Balancing his time between here and I would expect out west.
Yeah, and he moved out west a little bit too, or he'd be traveling a ton all over the place. And I actually been kind of got canned from Black Label because he gave us all his footage for
really
for our Reason to Believe video.
I think he may have spoke to that in some degree on his Bunt interview.
Yeah, he's a friend to the end, no matter what. And I don't think that sat too well with Lucero. So
because he was running Black Label at the time, and kind of the way he said it went down was basically.
So it must have been. It was after Ben's video Blackout that he ended it in with Del Toro and all that, and then after that, I guess he was filming for what they were trying to do another video, and he was like, "Nah, dude, I'm filming for this shop video."
Took all that footage,
yeah. So
didn't know that. That's crazy.
Yeah, I hope I didn't kill Ben's career. He wound up on Zero, but it just wasn't the same.
Yeah.
But skateboarding wasn't the same either. So we all went through economic downturns and everything.
So that's crazy, man. Yeah, you talk about the ups and downs of skateboarding. So that was definitely a cool time, and you talk about the demos and stuff. I remember the first time I ever saw Jamie Thomas. He had a demo. He did a demo by himself.
Solo demo at
the Slab. We called it the Slab.
Yep.
And
that was our second real DIY, the Slab. Which is right next to the furnace.
So vividly remember that and all those times. It was really cool.
Yeah, my idea with the demo or the DIY stuff was it cost money, but back then getting people to come to downtown Birmingham was a hassle.
I know my mom didn't want to take me.
Moms were not about it.
No, I'm not dropping my kids off there.
Yeah, especially across the street from the projects. So I was like, well, I'm going to build all this stuff for people to skate, and then they're going to want to come downtown, as an attraction. And then they're going to come to my shop. It's like marketing, but it also was our training grounds because we had no skate parks,
Right.
So, yeah, the Jamie demo, there was a Black Label demo there. We did a Foundation demo.
Yeah.
I don't know what else, but that's all a blur too, but that's pre-concrete, I guess, before people started doing a lot of DIY with concrete.
So are these teams reaching out to you like, hey, we're doing a little tour?
Yeah, back then the money was good.
And obviously you're the only person that's even connected in the
basically if you're coming out west, and a lot of times it would go with Tampa Pro happening in Tampa. So they would all do tours on the way there and on the way out. And if you're coming across, you're coming right through Birmingham to go to Atlanta to do another demo, and then you're straight down 75, 85 to Tampa.
Yeah.
So we were just lucky to, and then of course just relationships with Black Label and Jamie and stuff. But that was wild times where those companies had real money to do that stuff. And we were lucky enough to get some of it. We had America at one point. And
I remember that. Yeah.
We had autograph signings where it was lines down the freaking block for 2 hours. Jamie, I remember getting bummed out. Hey, go see how
many people
how
are
many
left?
more we've got. And I'm like, dude, it's
you're gonna be here a while, man.
He's like, all right.
He's committed.
Yeah. So
that's so cool.
But in my mind, I'm like, yeah, dude, we're bringing the heat. This is what these guys want, it's to be held on a pedestal.
Yeah,
these people are going to line up in the streets in the rain or whatever to get your autograph, and get a photo. So
that's awesome, man.
Yeah, I thought we did it right.
Yeah, it felt so cool. I remember the America. I guess that was just a signing. I think Leo was out there skating a flat bar in front.
Kids in America tour. And there was a segment or a little clip of him skating a flat bar out front.
Yeah,
in the end, and but it was basically just an autograph signing.
But we had
because I guess we didn't have the slab anymore.
Yeah, just nowhere to skate, man.
Just
such a drag. But we had gone and seen them because they did a demo at a skate park in Atlanta, I think, the day before.
I think I was there. Yeah.
It was an indoor skate park. It's like in a mall or something.
Yeah, if there was a demo, I was there.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Within Atlanta or anywhere around,
Yeah, so a bunch of our friends went, and then we met Eric Ellington after and got his autograph, and he's like a very talkative person, so we just sat there and chit-chatted. And then the next day, he was in town doing the signing at your shop.
Okay.
And we walked up, and he was like, "Oh, what's up, guys?" And he kind of recognized us a little bit. And so all the people around us was like, "You know Eric Ellington? You just hang out with him?" So I was like, "Yeah, no big deal. Yeah, what's going on, man?" But yeah, so you talk about the kind of the rise and fall of skateboarding and waves. So that was kind of the height of the time. What was the downturn?
So that was the height of the time because internet wasn't really around. That played in our favor. Mall stores weren't around. Nike, Adidas, and Converse, and all the big
players
shoe
in
brands,
the shoes and stuff. Yeah,
they weren't around. It was all skater owned and operated stuff, and skate shops were a commodity. I mean, really needed, that and appreciated. Like they had marketing dollars. They would send their marketing people to Birmingham to make sure Soul Tech had enough stuff on my wall and looked good.
Yeah,
and then take us out to $800 dinners. All these
dude, that's so cool.
Dirty Alabama kids. They don't got it like that now.
Yeah.
So that was back in the heyday when things were really rad. Because I mean, a little shop in Alabama spent $50,000 this year with Black Label.
Yeah.
Who knows what all the other shops spent? There was a lot of money. But it was also just small and, well received, I guess. It just wasn't diluted.
Gotcha.
So then, 2008 hits, which is economic downturn. My shop was doing better. So we were like, all right, I want to move out of the projects. I need a parking lot. I need somewhere that the Overmountain moms and dads don't feel sketched out coming to. So we moved up by Zydeco on 20th Street. Yeah. So that was my we're going to be a boutique. We're going to I'm selling tons of shoes and tons of stuff. So I can do $1,700 a month in rent. So we moved up there for everything's 4 years cycles for me. So we moved up there for like 4 years or so. And then business was still just killing it. Vans did a demo at Homewood Park. This is Homewood Park days.
Yeah,
we did have a skate park. That was
we did have a little skate park at Homewood,
and that's still my favorite skate park.
It was so much fun, man. Like it's just a bunch of metal ramps on like a big smooth concrete slab.
The smoothest slab. It's what made the world. It made it
fall down. You just slide. Not getting all torn up, road rash and all that stuff.
So.
I don't think Homewood took too well to that, though. It seemed like after a few years, they were just like, dude, get these kids out of here.
4 years is all it took. And it wasn't even the skateboarders. It was some crappy incidents that happened.
Just kids being kids? Or
the skateboarders would take their phone or their cigarettes out of their pocket and leave it laying on the ground there or whatever, or their wallet even. And then some other people would come by and snatch it up. And there was a fight or two that happened over that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then, if you bring in that many skateboarders just skating, it brings in all the lurker kids who just hang out, sit around, smoke cigarettes or smoke weed behind that little...
Right.
And you got Homewood moms and strollers. It just doesn't look good.
Yeah.
I will say the skateboarders have foul mouths, but it really wasn't ever sketchy like they like to make it out for a while there,
Yeah, I remember they would do like the movies in the park, and they would have to basically rope off the skate park and close it down because it was just like so loud and
metal clanking.
And
then they built that those townhomes right there.
Right.
And by the time the first person moved in, Homewood Park was gone.
Yeah.
They told everybody like that's gonna be gone. Don't worry about it.
Don't stress.
They didn't want to hear that in their backyard all night.
Yeah.
That's Homewood's fault. They should have put it at West Homewood Park, and the park would have been fine.
So going to the it seems like at least the entire time me growing up skateboarding is just there's no parks. We had a couple of private parks like Ryan mentioned Ramp and Speed, yeah, but that's all we had, man. And then I guess insurance being what it is, I can't imagine how they stayed open for as long as they did.
Yeah, that was another one that was owned by a speed skater of some sort.
Yeah.
Like he was had nothing to do with skateboarding, but we partnered with him and we tried to help, and it just didn't work out.
Sure. So what is it, getting to the new park that's going to be built with Citywalk?
Yeah.
And super excited about all that. But why do you think there's been so much resistance here, specifically in Birmingham, to having an outdoor public park? Do they look at Homewood and like, well, it didn't work out there, so we won't do
Homewood
this?
was brought up several times, and the stereotype of skateboarders are gang members and drug addicts is all I ever heard at every meeting. And I was like, no, this is what you've been sold. This is what they told you why we got rid of it. We were the scapegoat. Those townhomes coming up that cost $400,000 each. That's a reason, because they don't want to have that in their backyard. So we that's been the biggest issue. The other big issue has been our government leaders.
Do you think it's just a lack of understanding because the skateboard culture is just non-existent here, or just
like William Bell and all of Jonathan Austin, who was our last city councilman? They just didn't get it, dude. And all they cared about was bringing up where the Crossplex is.
Okay.
They were going to build us a skate park out there. They said, well, they wouldn't build us a skate park. They would allow one out there if we raised the money.
You got to raise the money yourself.
And so, of course, we were like, well, that's not a safe area.
Yeah, no, I don't think the Crossplex is doing very well.
let's face it, skateboarding at the time was still stereotypically a white kid sport.
Okay.
And kids would get robbed or something, I'm sure. It's changed a lot now. So the demographic of skateboarding now is everybody you can imagine.
Right.
Like I'll sell 10 skateboards a day. 5 of them will be to little girls.
Yeah, there's a lot of girl skaters, man.
Like 4 will be to non-white kids, like ethnic kid, of other ethnicities. It's the shift has really changed, And then now we have leadership that's changed, Like I'm older than our councilman, Daryl O'Quinn. I'm older than Woodfin,
Yeah.
And they
pretty young. Yeah.
Woodfin's cool. He gets it,
Yeah.
He's like, hell yeah, I want a skate park. I want the biggest skate park. I want the baddest skate park,
So is he pretty involved as far as like explain to me, like, okay, you want to get a skate park built, and I know it's been a long road, and you guys had raised money in different ways. I think you may have got a grant from the Tony Hawk Foundation or something.
Which, let me preface, we had to send that back.
Okay.
With a grant, if you don't use the grant within the timeline,
okay,
which was 2 years for said project,
you can't just like hoard the money.
No,
and that makes sense.
You can't send an account. You have to send them like, here's progress updates every 6 months and stuff. And no progress, I'm like, dude, I think that project's dead in the water.
Really?
What do we do to send this back? And they're like, no, maybe we can reallocate it to another one or another thing. And I'm like, I don't know, dude. I'd feel better if this money was off my plate. Yeah. So it got sent back.
Dang, that's crazy.
So yeah, there was like so many ups and downs, and we've raised money, and there's still money in an account. But all of a sudden, Citywalk popped up, and this is just, there's been a huge paradigm shift in just the world, Team sports are not as popular as individual sports now, too, Our government, city government has just changed. They're awesome. Everything's about cycling, and everything's about like parks.
Getting with the times, man. It's
getting outdoors, and it's pretty cool. I know it's all money based still, but it finally happened. So, but to give other insight, say downtown Atlanta, Stratosphere is kind of their head shop, and Thomas Taylor is their lead dude, and he told me, he's like, dude, we fought 12 years to get a skate park in downtown Atlanta, which is the Fourth Ward Park, which if before that, if Fourth Ward was just trash, nobody wanted it. Then all of a sudden lofts pop up, and like moving downtown and living downtown is the new hip thing.
It's the new thing. Yeah, man.
Skate park, boom, happened like that, where every city around Atlanta got skate parks because there's less red tape involved, less like shit, I guess. Money's, Hoover could build a skate park easily. Trustville could build a skate park, I think, easily. They're not in the red. We fought for a skate park forever, and it was always like, sorry, Birmingham's bankrupt, we have no money. And then they'd say, it sounds awesome though, go talk to Park and Rec, and Park and Rec would be like, Yeah, they cut our budgets. Don't talk to us. And then Park and Rec would be like, what you need to do is talk to your councilman. Talk to the councilman. He's like, yeah, this sounds awesome. It was 3 different.
Just keep passed off. Yeah.
I'm getting passed off to one person over and over and over. Everybody's a yes man. Like, this sounds cool, This sounds awesome.
It's all politics. Like, we love your idea, but
even when you're like, there are 176 tennis courts in Birmingham, and about 27 of them are being used. Just allocate us a tennis court, and we will do the rest. Doesn't happen. Won't happen. Can't happen. Sounds good, but you cannot get it passed or get it happening. So yeah, we almost had a skate park at Ruffner Mountain.
Whoa.
Which is where we got the Tony Hawk grant for. There's an old Olympic pool out there.
I haven't seen that.
Roebuck Springs.
Okay.
It's an old park, and that sounded like our best bet because it was actually outside the city and privately owned. And then we almost had a skate park at George Ward Park.
Now, I do remember that one, and even seeing like the CAD drawings of what it might look like and all that stuff. We spent a
bunch of money to get those drawings, and get all that legwork done, only to be told, like, yeah, y'all need to come up with $20,000 extra a year for us to change trash cans and do maintenance on it. What? I'm like, seriously? You freaks sit in your trucks in the parking lot doing nothing. Like, so it was a lot of ups and downs and just crap. And then a lot of Homewood Park popping back up. And then a lot of just bad timing. I mean, Birmingham had no money. I don't know how Birmingham has so much money now.
I don't know.
But I will say Citywalk is being paid for by LDOT.
Okay.
So that's the one reason I'm like, this is real.
This is really going to happen.
Oh, it's happening.
Yeah.
And the overall park is probably $30 million or something. That's not the skate park.
Yeah, but the whole thing.
The whole 10-block long park is probably $20 to $30 million, like ridiculous money. And they already have it set aside, earmarked for it, from what I've been told.
I know. I came to the thing you did at Cahaba.
But this is 2020. Shit can happen.
Yes, it is. It absolutely
Still got a few more days.
Let's knock on wood.
That's right.
But yes, when I came to whatever you're going to call that event that you had at Cahaba, where you showed the two drawings and people got to vote on what they liked better and stuff. I think the first words out of your mouth is like, "This is really happening for everybody that's stuck around." And
then I was like, "Wait,
10 years.
Don't even like take it from me." I pulled Canton Russell over and I was like, "Tell them, like."
So how did
that's happening?
How did that partnership come about with the people that actually designed the park?
So that's New Line Skate Parks. Okay. Before that, they were called Action Sports Development, before that they were even Stantec Group. So Canton Russell's been an old-time professional skateboarder forever. He was back in Osiris the Storm video and stuff like that. Okay. So he's got roots out in San Diego, but now he's a skate park designer builder. And that was during the time of the George Ward Park. That's who did those CAD drawings.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we hired them with this money, again, Pepsi Refresh grant. We got $50,000, and that money had to be used within 1 year.
1 year.
Yeah.
So you had to give that money back to her?
No.
Okay.
We used it. We were like, okay,
we're gonna use
what
this
can
money.
We do? So we paid them, the Stantec Group, Action Sports Design, hired them for $50,000. It was going to be $85,000 overall. But we were like, here's 50 to get it started. And that's as far as that got.
Yeah.
They did as far as like soil tests and like water runoff testing and all that stuff, and did like real blueprints. I have down to I have a roll of blueprints for the park. That's about what $50,000 gets you. But I mean, Canton's an advocate for skate parks. So me and him have been in touch forever. And he's like, dude, just let me know now that this fell through, let me know what we can do for you. And then he started working with New Line Skate Parks, which is like, they're some of the best. They do skate parks all over the place.
Yeah.
And so I was like, hey, here's this new opportunity that we just got $4,000 signatures for Citywalk. When we presented them, like 2 weeks, we got 4,000 signatures.
So that was how it became on like Aldot's radar. Is like they said, "Hey, what do we want to do with this park?"
Yeah. And so you might not have been at those meetings.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, it was like January of a couple years ago,
okay,
maybe even last year. they did community input meetings on this proposed, there's always these things about how 2059 divides the city, and they wanted to move 2059 in order to not divide the city anymore. So instead, they built the interstates, and AlDOT said, well, what we'll do is we'll build an epic park below that's kind of your tie together for the city. So you're going to have Northside Birmingham, and then this awesome park, and then you're going to have where Top Golf and the new stadium and
so it all
that
side.
So it
together.
all ties together.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the marriage of sorts to make everybody happy, all the neighborhoods, and then everybody in the neighborhoods can come in and say what they would like to see in this park, So they did community input meetings, and Daryl LeQuinn came to Go Skateboard Day once, who's our counselor. He came to Go Skate Day, and he was like, hey, heads up. Yeah, it must have been like November. He's like, heads up. You need to come with troops to this meeting in November or whatever and really show face. If you want a skate park, this is your chance. So thank God for him. He clued us onto that.
Yeah.
So I was like, hell yeah. So we already had a petition with like 1,000 signatures from back in the day. I grabbed all those, and then I started this campaign to get signatures again, and we got 4,000 or 5,000 signatures within 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah. The news was like, holy crap, and everybody had a testimonial. It was like signed, and it was like, oh my God, I miss Homewood Park, and Birmingham needs a skate park. So we took that, and I printed them out and took them to the meeting, Boom! And I told all the skate heads and I was like, come there, don't be punks. Don't say gimme, gimme, gimme. We deserve this. I said, come there and show, full force, but properly.
Right.
Let's not look like assholes.
Show face and
Don't
show the community.
Don't be like, why don't we have a skate park?
Right.
We're the last place in the United States.
Just feed into that stereotypes.
Yeah. Right? Instead, it was like, everybody they gave everybody like 5 or 6 stickers or so, like something like that, to just kind of put stickers on different amenities of their park that they think would be cool. Mm-hmm. And there was something showing a skate park in one of the pictures, and dude, you couldn't even
get enough stickers on it.
You couldn't. Yeah, it was just like covered deep, dude. I mean, it was like hundreds, and then every other picture had like 4 or 5.
Yeah,
so
that's so cool.
They were just overwhelmed and just like, what the hell? Obviously, we're gonna build a skate park. So that's what started that, and then I mean, everything was moving really, really well, but we had to wait for the interstates to be done. Mm-hmm. Now they're done. Now we got lights. We got all this cool stuff. They're doing the infrastructure now. So, and then COVID hit, and really the plan was to get the entire park done by World Games, which was supposed to be next year. It's not. It's now pushed back. So, COVID. So the skate park is set to open June of 2022.
Okay.
Which is 578 days away.
Exactly. And from my understanding, coming to the meeting at Cahaba, you guys landed on a final design, I guess, because at that meeting you showed 2 different ones, and you were like, hey, put the sticker on what you want to lean towards.
At that meeting, they had also done community input to just see what everybody kind of wants, Mm-hmm. And then they had 2 different designs, ideas.
Yeah.
And they took all that input back, and that was the other skate community input. And so
are there pictures of that online we can pull up?
There should on citywalkbham.org.
Okay.
Citywalkbham.org.
Yeah, there should be. Citywalkbham.org. There's master plan. The one that it was almost like unanimous as well. Everybody chose this one design, and now that's what the boys Canton and New Line's doing is the full blueprints, and they're going to have a 3D renderings soon, like a fly through almost.
So this picture that she's looking at right now, does it show the location of the park? Or
it should be somewhere around number 3 or 4, I think.
It's close to like the.
It's right by ASFA.
Yes.
Alabama School of Fine Arts.
Fine Arts, yeah.
Actually, looks like that's it.
So click on that photo.
I believe. Yeah, Action Sports Park, Regional Park.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so it's all I wanted was give us like 15,000 square feet. Let us do the work, whatever. I don't know anything. So now, flash forward, this is a 50 to 70,000 square foot skate park, which is bigger than any park in Georgia.
How does it compare to like Louisville's?
Bigger than Louisville.
Bigger than
Louisville's 35,000.
That one is the biggest one I've ever been to.
Yeah, so this is
massive.
To give you an idea, this is freaking real.
Oh, dude, that's so crazy.
That was my question to him too. I was like, so I get 50, 70,000, but
visually, like
Louisville's like the biggest, gnarly to me, and they were like, that's 30,
it's got full pipe and everything.
35, 40,000.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit.
This could be
so this is basically about 2 city blocks.
Yeah.
And it's linear, you know. So yeah, it's divided between like 2 or 3 bowl areas, a pump track, and then a mega street course with a flow area too.
Dude, oh man, I'm so excited.
Yeah, I'm old, and I'm like,
oh dude,
a pump track, I can get my heart rate up.
Yeah.
Do it, you know, this would be awesome.
Yeah, the past several years for me, I don't even know if I could like ollie or kickflip anymore. You know, I can just like push around and I'm sore after
I'm just gonna push and pump and get exercise and cardio, I guess.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
Well, dude, that's so awesome, man. So did at any point you said the counselor that came to Go Skateboard Day, was he kind of the bridge when like, hey, we want to build a park.
Yeah.
We need to reach out to Peter to actually get some input on how it needs to look.
And that's
I guess
all
brought you in.
More relationships and more friends. His name's Daryl O'Quinn. He's our counselor. He's probably younger than me. He's awesome.
Okay.
But he's a huge bicycle commuter. He rides bikes to and from work a lot, tons of days, and he's huge in that. And then, so before where I was, my shop is now, I was a block away. And at one point we were in with Redemptive Cycles, the bicycle shop.
Yeah.
So his connection with Redemptive Cycles kind of, and of course my relationship with Redemptive kind of spearheaded that to, hey, put this on his radar, you know?
Yeah.
And he's rad, dude, as far as I'm concerned. I don't know him that well, but so far he's been straight to me compared to Jonathan Austin, who was the old councilman.
Oh man, well, dude, that's so exciting, man.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
be rad
anything can happen. We've all learned that this year, so I'm still like.
But this seems like the most concrete thing.
I'm like, I'll believe it when we
start
shoveling. When we start shoveling dirt,
right?
I'll believe it. Or when I see some concrete trucks start pouring something that looks proper.
Yeah.
But everybody I talk to is still on the up and up. I had a meeting 3 weeks ago through Zoom with like all of the what they call stakeholders. Mm-hmm. So they're calling me a stakeholder because I'm kind of the man around the skateboard world. And then there's like Alabama School of Fine Arts. They're going to have some like performing arts kind of areas, outdoor classroom areas. So people from every level of entity. There's somebody behind everything, I guess.
Yeah.
And there's somebody behind like 7 or 8 pickleball courts over there too.
Pickleball. Okay.
Which is, I don't know how 7 or 8 pickleball courts happen, but hey.
I'm not even sure what that is, honestly. But
so to give you an idea, like, Crestwood Park, you live across the street.
Yeah.
There's tennis courts, and then there's these mini tennis courts that basically everybody play with their dogs at and skateboard at.
Yeah.
Those are pickleball courts.
Is that the guys that I see with like, it looks like they're having a ping pong paddle?
Yeah.
And they're playing. And I'm like, how is this any different from tennis?
Yeah. It's like
it's basically
miniature tennis badminton or something.
So it's like,
it's real slow.
I don't want to play tennis. I don't want to play ping pong. I want to play
pickleball.
Okay. Pickleball.
So
okay.
Supposedly it's been around forever, but since COVID,
never heard of that.
Since COVID hit, it's obviously very popular, and they have their own armies.
Oh, I see them wearing it out, man. Because we'll go, in the summer we go up to the park and walk and run and stuff.
But prior to a year ago, dude, we just skated there, and there would be miniature dog park basically.
Yeah.
So I was always like, turn this into a skate park. Now all of a sudden it's very popular.
Where's the other tennis? There's another tennis court I keep seeing on my Instagram feed from local skaters and stuff that they've turned into
that's East Lake. That's my new DIY. started
some ramps and some rails and
started
stuff.
that one a few months ago. It's going to be more like slappy curbs and like old man stuff for me that I don't have to ollie.
Yeah. Y'all just
I
took
think
it
that's
over
the cool
and started
stuff,
doing it.
Yeah, dude. There's 16 tennis courts in Eastlake, and there's no nets, and they've been abandoned forever.
Okay.
Not the safest area. Just so you know, anybody going there, some problems have happened. So
all right, go during the day.
Know what you're doing. Yeah.
So what's, I guess, to kind of change direction here, running a shop in 2020, you kind of hinted earlier that, in the heyday before like internet took over and mail order and all that stuff.
Yeah.
What's it like running a shop today and the challenges that you face trying to stay? I mean, obviously you're doing something right. You've been open for 25 years, so that's pretty crazy.
We've had more ups and downs, since internet hit and economic downturns back in 2008 and stuff.
Yeah.
That was a trying time as well. I bought a building at that point because I thought my shop was going to be around forever, and I was like, I'm done paying rent, so I'm just I got a mortgage. So I the one thing I've done right in my life, I've got an investment.
Okay.
There's no such thing as a retirement or 401k in a skate shop.
Is that the building you're in now?
No, it's where down by where Urban Standard is on 2nd Avenue North.
Yes.
Yeah, my old shop there. Yo Mama's is in there now. They're awesome people and pay great rent and run a great restaurant. So.
Dude, I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah. So, anyway, after that, I kind of I was going to get into the manufacturing side of skateboarding, printing boards and stuff. So we moved down to where Redemptive is now. I don't even know if I'm answering your question or just telling my story.
It's so cool, though.
We moved down to where Redemptive is now, which was the old Magic City Motor Scooters shop, and Matt Myers that owns that building is a homie. He's and it sat vacant for a while, and dude, it's cool. It's got roll up garage doors and
got the big mural on the side.
Yeah, and it was just really rad. And I was like, this will be perfect. And then I can manufacture boards in the back, not pressing boards.
That's what I was going to ask. You pressing or just
printing? Yeah, we had the heat press machine to print the boards and stuff. So I was doing that for a while, and then that didn't pan out for some reasons. And then after that, Redemptive moved in with me into my shop, and then they were going to sell that building. We found out, and we were told we'd have 60 days to move out. This is like good neighbors, packing order, So I got ahead of it, and that's where my business partner today that does New Republic screen printing, he was ready to grow his business, and I was like, let's get a warehouse. So we moved a block away from there. And that's where I am today.
Okay.
But owning a business in 2020 or a skate shop in 2020 has been very good.
Okay.
If you own a bicycle shop or a skateboard shop or an outdoor store,
aren't like bicycles in high demand right now?
Yeah, same with skateboards and
same with anything.
Kayaks
dude.
are sold out. If you go to Urban Outfitters, it looks like REI now, from what I hear. Like it's transitioned more from,
just clothing and stuff.
And stuff. You're not going out anymore, so you're not buying your gear. You're buying something you can use to get out of your damn house.
Yeah.
And everybody's skateboarding now, which is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, that is awesome, man. I did not expect you to say that.
Yeah,
I was thinking business might be kind of...
There's been like a trifecta. So COVID helped with that to where everybody's picking up a skateboard again.
Yeah.
Or getting out there trying it. Every customer coming in is like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I think I want a skateboard.
Sure.
So I'm like, all right. I
saw a lot of like longboards and like cruiser boards.
Good
and stuff
bit,
like that.
Yeah. But people... The Tony Hawk's new game came out too.
The repeat of
the
original.
Yes, so everybody's pumped and getting back into skateboarding.
It's like, that's crazy. It just goes in cycles.
They're like, for some reason, I want to try these tricks, and so COVID, Tony Hawk, and then girls skateboarding.
Mm-hmm.
There are, I don't know why, but prior to a few years ago, there were not very many girl skateboarders and professional girl skateboarders. Now it's huge. We have transgender professional skateboarders now.
Wow.
It's fucking cool.
That's rad.
Everybody is skateboarding. When I say it, everybody is. 6-year-olds to 40-something-year-olds.
Yeah.
That's 50-year-olds. And boys, girls, everybody is.
Yeah.
So that's it's been a kind of a trifecta of that.
Yeah.
You know.
Man, that's so rad. Well, that's awesome to hear, man.
Yeah.
I was expecting I guess I didn't think about it
losers
in
win.
that way. We bought some kayaks.
I wanted to buy a kayak
earlier.
earlier.
You can't find them, man.
Yep. I couldn't. I bought a house out in Irondale. I'm right by the Cahaba spot where everybody swims. I was like, I want a kayak.
Yeah,
Couldn't
that was
one.
us. We were just trying to
Couldn't
find
get one,
something new
dude.
to do. And
Yep.
I was going to drive to Chattanooga to get one.
Yeah.
We got lucky and found some. They just pulled them off the truck. But
that's the other problem is popularity.
Mm-hmm.
And then half the skateboards are made in Mexico or China. And if they're shut down or they're working with half staffs, you know.
Oh, so maybe getting inventory has been harder.
Inventory's been fucked up, you know.
Yeah.
Somehow I'm on top of it. But a lot of skate shops I see around the United States, they're like, we have no trucks. We haven't had trucks in a month.
Damn.
Somehow I'm on it, though, and I've been stocking, you know.
Yeah.
But
is there anything that's been, other than boards, anything else that's been like hard for you to stock, or are you doing pretty solid across the board?
Well, it goes in waves. Like right now, boards are kind of down, but I can get trucks, lots of trucks. And then last month it was wheels I couldn't get hardly, you know. So it kind of goes in waves where they get their shipments in. So with Christmas coming, it's pre-built completes and decks that I'm seeing more of a scarcity of.
Yeah.
But I do have a good stock of them.
Yeah, because the holidays right around the corner.
I'm fully stocked on trucks now, and I'm fully stocked on wheels. But then that's going to go away soon too, you know.
Yeah.
So, because I pre-book, which means I order a lot of my stuff ahead of time. I mean, I'm pre-booking right now with scarcities. I'm pre-booking for holiday of next year, like just to make sure I'm allocated.
Smart move.
I'm allocated product. I'm not going to be left behind. You
Right.
know?
Yeah.
So it's been a good bad problem for me. And then what it's like in 2020 is like I have an online store now.
Yeah.
I've always sucked at the internet or like computer stuff and never quite grasped it, but I ship, you know, 4 packages a day, you know.
Dang.
When it was really hairy when nobody was leaving their house, you know, quarantine, and when we were having curfews and stuff, I would ship 10 a day sometimes, you know. I was doing my normal daily sales online, and that's pretty rad.
That is rad.
Yeah. And then my business partner, Steve, ships so much stuff. Like I just get to piggyback on his account and get his good pricing and stuff. Yeah. So it actually is like not been like, I was forced to learn to do an online store pretty well. Which is basically like Seasick, you know.
Yeah.
Dude, they're shipping crazy.
You go in there, it's just like boxes and boxes and boxes. It's crazy. Yeah.
So, I mean, they really like nailed it. And I was like, I got to do this, you know, and other skate shops had to also. And I was forced to, and I'm glad I learned, you know, how to run an online store now and make it worth it.
Yeah.
Where before I was like, dude, I'm making $4. This is pathetic.
Screw that. Just come to the store.
Yeah. So, I'm cool. It's as bad as COVID is. I'm thankful for our position, you know. And it's kind of giving the leg up to the little guys right now, you know, like supporting local and like really.
Are there any other shops in Alabama? Like I'm kind of out of the loop as far as like local skate scene right now. So,
well, there's not much. I mean, there's the one shop that's as old as me is up in Huntsville called World Conspiracy.
Is that right next to the park?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. They've been there forever.
Another skate/rave store.
Skate rave theme. Man.
Yeah. And then, I mean, shops are either dying off left and right or some new stuff's opening, you know, here and there. Like one of the longest ones was Blonde John's in Gulf Shores. He was actually been in business longer than I had. But I mean, he was surf and skate, in beach apparel.
Sure.
But he closed 2 or 3 years ago, you know.
Dang.
There's a little one in Auburn, you know, but not a lot. Not
a
lot at all. Tuscaloosa should have one. I've always thought about, if I could, I would open one there.
I was going to ask if you ever, you know, at any point thought about opening a second location or kind of
like
franchising out. I don't know what you'd call it, but just having multiple stores maybe in different places.
Like I've always wanted to, you know, like to me, Tuscaloosa is perfect. You got a college campus with young kids, you know, longboards all day, and you have 2 skate parks. You could build a skate scene, you know. Huntsville, I've always said if something happened to flip at World Conspiracy, I'd probably open a shop up there. Because my good friend James Hardy's actually from there too. Yeah, and he's got the roots and the following of people, and we could get a shop open there. But I wouldn't do that to World Conspiracy.
Do it in their backyard, obviously.
Yeah, I'm not trying to like put anybody out of business or hurt anybody. But yeah, I think I just saw like a new thing might be popping up in Anniston. It's called Curio Skate Shop. Yeah, I don't know.
Never heard of that.
Yeah, they're trying to get it off the ground, I think.
Well, best of luck to Curio.
Yeah, dude. I reached out. I was like, hey, if y'all need help, let me know.
That's cool, man.
If I can help in any way or just promote, I don't know.
Yeah. So
we have a decent following that is still around Alabama. Like right now, we get people from Gadsden and Anniston and stuff all the time just because they come to Birmingham to skate, you know. So
that's cool, man.
Yeah, I'd love to help in any way.
Well, speaking of helping and speaking of, you mentioned James Hardy, and then we talked about Ben earlier, and
just so nonchalantly, just your buds, just you hang out with.
And do you ever talk to Jamie? Is he like still on your radar at all? Or?
You know, Jamie's a weird one.
Okay.
I met him as a friend, and then I've worked for him before, you know, as a sales rep for like Fallen and Zero and stuff back in the day, where he was my boss more, you know, and then
he's a busy guy.
Now he doesn't claim Alabama as much now that there's not as many ties here. So, I mean, since Reason to Believe and since Ben quit Zero and James basically doesn't ride, you know, Fallen or anybody anymore, like it's just...
He's out in Texas now, isn't he?
No, James here.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, he lives
really?
right here in Irondale. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, dude.
I guess
he's working at my shop again too. Like,
oh, sweet.
Like we got the band back together. He's like, dude, I'd rather be retired and just hang out here and work. Then he's been doing electrician work and stuff. He's like, screw that crap.
So I listened to his podcast on the Bunt.
That one was a good one.
And he talked about kind of his time in skating and everything, and how he went on to, you know, after skateboarding was kind of passed, going on to do electrical work and stuff. But I guess I thought he was still out in Texas or whatever.
No, I mean he was married to a girl from Texas, which was when he was in San Antonio, and then they both moved here, and then I mean, hate it for him, but he got divorced a year or so ago, but he's a much happier person now.
Okay.
And he's got him a good girl, and he's stoked. And
well, talk us up to him, man. We'd love to have him on here.
Yeah, dude, cool. I will. James has been helping me out at that East Lake DIY, like building stuff, and he's been filming again. He's had like a lot of problems, like hit his head so much skateboarding. He has seizures,
dude,
and he's got back problems, and we both are like old man knee problems, icing our knees all the time and stuff. But he's getting back on board and said he's been feeling good. He's started gluten free and all this stuff. He's like, dude,
I'm like a new person.
I think he said he talked to Dane Berman, and this is what he's doing and all this, and like he's like on it right now. So he's on it.
Dude, that's sick, man.
Yeah.
Well,
and Gilly's still around, you know. He's probably at Mom's basement playing free pinball right now.
Okay.
Every Wednesday night, Mom's basement.
Yeah, shout out. So it seems like, you know, faith has kind of been a stepping stone for people to sort of transition, you know, especially people with just raw talent like James or Ben.
So like James is from Huntsville and Ben's from Mississippi, but both of them was like, we want to be down with faith because I guess I try to mentor it, you know. So James' mom would bring him to Birmingham every weekend, and he basically lived with me and ruined my first marriage for me. Wives don't like that.
Here again?
Wives don't like that when you got kids on your couch all the time.
Yeah.
But so like we definitely, and then of course having Jamie Thomas in the earfold kind of helps too. Yeah. Like he's like, these are Bama boys, and I see them jumping, and they got the raw what it takes, you know.
Right.
So Jamie always was the next leg up to like get him on. You know, he got James on reel. Yeah. You know, he told Jim Thiebaud, he was like, I'm going to put him on Fallen, and he needs a real deck sponsor, and he fits reel. And Jim was like, all right, we'll try him. So,
sweet.
So he got on reel, you know.
Well, that's so sick, man. Like, you know, just having someone like you to kind of help facilitate some of that. It's like, hey, you have a real chance at like maybe doing something if you don't screw it up.
Yeah. And that's how let's say that's how it really was. Okay. You know, we're video parts and just.
So that's where I'm leading with this question is what would you say to someone today that has like just untamed talent that wants to try to make a career in skateboarding? Do you think it's harder today to do that, or is it
you can
easier?
do it more on your own, obviously?
I'd say Instagram's a beautiful thing right now.
But my argument to that is, does it get more diluted because everybody's doing it? Everybody's got an Instagram account. Everybody's posting themselves skating.
But in the end of the day, like Jim Thiebaud at Real and Jamie at Black Box was telling Ben and James, like, y'all need to post more, do more social media, like self-promotion.
Really? Okay.
Ben doesn't have an Instagram account, and James only posted his dog. You know, they didn't do skate stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And it kind of hurt them, you know? And that's not because of me. That's just because they're from Alabama. They're like, screw this.
Yeah. I'm not, maybe don't see the importance.
I'm not here to self-promote, I guess. But it's different these days, you know? Like, there are lots of professional skateboarders. I don't even know who they are.
Dude, I can't keep
They've
up.
never had a video part, never had a cover, never had an interview in Thrasher or anything real. The days of... you know,
are the days of full-length videos over?
They're done, dude.
They're done.
I hate it.
Man. It's all about just that one part. That's all anybody wants.
It really is. And then 7 minutes later, you're over it, and you're like, "What's Thrasher's?"
I know there's 10 other videos on Thrasher.
Like, there's got to be something else I can watch.
It's like, how do you keep up?
So that kind of like, it is what it is. But I hate it. You know, like dudes that would work 3 years on one video part. You're wasting your time now, bro. So
because it's up and it's like the internet just moves so fast.
And it moves so fast, and you're out the door. It's in one ear and out the other.
It's like, oh, that was cool. All right, next thing.
Yeah, like traditionalists or like people that really respect it still do respect like a full length, and like real stuff like that. Like people that put in the work, you know. But let's face it, dude. You can make it happen.
Yeah.
There's like pro skateboarders that just have Instagram followings. Like, have you seen that Scapegoat guy?
Yes.
Dude, he's awesome. But
dude,
who does he ride for, and who's he pro for?
Exactly. There's so many people.
He built it himself, dude.
Yeah. There's kids that I follow that are basically just park rats. That's all they do.
That's how this dude
rad,
is.
You know, it's just
that's
like
how
one
this
or two
dude
tricks.
is. I love watching him, man. It's awesome. But like, he rides for Bright Skateboards. Never heard of that.
No,
he rides for Kariyuma Shoes. Never heard of that, except it pops up on your Instagram feed all the time. And if it doesn't, it will now that I said it.
That you said it,
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks for that.
Sorry. So yeah, it's all just changing. You know, back in the day, it used to be like you had to have a board sponsor to get on a real shoe sponsor, which is why James was like, you have to have a real board sponsor for me to put you on Fallen. And because he couldn't. Jamie wanted James for $0 initially, but there was already a James Brockman and a Jamie Thomas and
too many Jameses.
Yeah,
I always wondered that. I was
There's
like,
too many.
What? Come on, man.
So it was like, all right, we'll put you on Fallen. You know?
Yeah.
That was the next leg up. You know, the next way to really promote him and keep him under the wing. Yeah, so it's different these days.
That's cool.
Every year it's something new for me. Well, in the past, I used to say it was 4-year cycles or so, like for me to learn. Like, oh, here's the internet. Everything. Oh, now everything's a click away. And oh, now there's mall stores, you know. You have CCS, brick and mortar, out of the Galleria, or now it's Zoomies. You know, it's always something I'm learning, you know. So now I pretty much feel like for the future, it's going to be learning how to monetize social media.
Yeah.
You know, because I got a dude, Alec, who rides for the shop, and he's out west now, and he's flow for real.
Spinosi?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
He's better than everybody.
He's sick.
He's better than James and Ben combined.
Really?
Yep, but he's not going to get on real. It's just sign of the times, dude. Sorry.
That's crazy.
Sorry, Alec. Not that you watch this, but
he might.
He's so good, dude.
Dude, he is good. That was.
But it's a sign of the times, dude. I'm like, man, you know.
I was gonna ask, is there anybody else, Alec? But anybody else that should be on like kids' radars as far as like just up and coming, especially from here, you know, from Alabama or from
Jacob. We put out another video, maybe 5 years ago.
Was that Reason to Believe?
Reason to Believe.
Yeah,
it was probably more like 8 years ago. Heck, I don't know. And Jacob Hayes, he's got the talent. He's awesome. best attitude, best.
So
he's out west.
Okay.
He's on Flow for Slave skateboards, but
I used to work at Sanctuary in Vestavia.
Yeah, Jacob was a Vestavia
Yeah, they would
kid
always
who just
up there.
crushed it with his, his little red hair.
The red hair, yeah,
his
man.
face, and he's grown into his own, and he's awesome. He's amazing. But skateboarding's also he's a little older, and he may know skateboarding might have not surpassed him, but like it's every kid's good at skateboarding now.
Yeah. It seems like a young man's game for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, he skates like a young man, and he's still got it. But I don't think he's cares as much like to get it, to make it real, And then Daniel Cutcliffe was another Vestavia kid. The whole Cutcliffe family was so good at skateboarding.
Yeah, he and his brother both were shredded.
And, but they're out in South Carolina now, working for Rodney Scott's. Doing
that's cool. Barbecue there,
skating, and if you watch there's a new Netflix show about barbecue and Rodney Scott's. They did a thing on Rodney Scott's, and Riley's in there like flipping hogs and stuff.
Really?
Yeah, he's hanging out with Rodney Scott and building a pit or something.
Dude, that's cool.
Damn, Riley. All right.
I did watch that, but I didn't see.
You probably wouldn't know that was Riley.
Yeah,
that's Riley. So
how about that?
But yeah, they're doing their thing in South Carolina, and just kind of, the whole thing back in the day used to be like, oh, you got to move to California to make it.
Yes.
Which was James's time, was the end of that time. Now you don't even have to move to California. You can make it on your own. Mm-hmm. They all moved to California to make it, and that's where Jacob is now.
Well, that's where the scene is, man. That's where
hardly. I don't know. And that's where Alec is now. Alec's really in the mix, and he's crushing it. But I don't know. I'm older and jaded now, where I'm just like,
I'm happy running my shop.
Yeah. You guys are the best. I wish the best for you, but you could probably start your own board brand and turn yourselves am.
So it's a lot more do-it-yourself type deal versus just trying to get on like a big team.
Yeah, it's like anything, self-promotion.
Yeah.
Instagram does more than anything, and it's just a different day and age, Mm-hmm. Plus, we never bred contest skaters or park skaters necessarily. All the dudes, we never had that.
Well, yeah. I mean, you had to be good at street, or
dudes were kind of more raw in the street, which is where filming parts came in. That's what worked. Now, like these dudes are training for the Olympics and stuff, and just
paradigm shift.
None of the kids that ever skated for Faith ever like really did well in contests.
Yeah, it's more like just street skating and not really trying to.
We do have one other
street league and all that stuff.
One other kid, Jason Salilas. He's not a kid anymore. He rides for Welcome Skateboards. He's fully on doing it.
Okay.
But I think he's already he's into riding bikes more than anything now. He rides like 40 to 100 miles a day or something. And
damn.
He works at Caba Cycle in Pelham, and he rides his bike to and from work every day, like 20 miles. I mean, he's more into being an athlete right now.
Okay.
But he's got the talent too.
Yeah.
I just don't think I think he's jaded, or kind of not jaded, but just kind of like, I don't want to be that guy that has to have an Instagram to self-promote,
Yeah, that's definitely like,
I think his sponsor even got onto him once or something.
You got to post more.
Where they were like, it'd be a lot cooler if you posted like stuff about your sponsor and the people you ride for. Instead, he was like giving somebody like like, dude, this was awesome, and posting somebody else's like clip. And he was like, man, it'd be cooler if you promoted yourself and promoted Welcome. Not to throw Welcome under the bus, but that's just how it is.
Yeah.
So
it just seems to me like it would be, there's so many people doing it. And I don't know. Maybe
it's all watered down.
Yeah.
Just like anything, like what we look at on Instagram video parts, it's just watered down to us now. Like nothing's like. I went to a video premiere last Saturday night here in Birmingham. Some of the young bucks put out a video called Trance.
I saw your post about it.
Yeah, I was like super stoked. They're out there in the streets getting it. And I went and like, it was quiet. The video is very good, but it was just kind of quiet. Where back in the day we used to do video premieres, and it was just like
everybody's like hooting and hollering. And
yeah.
I was probably the loudest person there, and they were like, "Dude, tell Peter to shut up."
I remember the.
But I was like hyping. I was trying to hype people.
I remember when you did the New Blood premiere, and y'all took over like a theater. Y'all did
it
was was it New Blood in the theater?
Yeah, that was at in
the Carmike and Hoover,
the Dollar
Theater.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is so cool. We're in a theater watching it. And Ben is like in the back, like yelling and stuff.
Yeah, cool. Video premieres used to be super hype. And I've been to several lately where I'm just like, everybody's quiet.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It's just different. Yeah. Our video premiere is still happening, you know, like with not with full length.
Yeah. What I've seen more now is like, say, Dane Berman has a video part that just came out, and I think
but it's just like a solo part.
Yeah, and they probably premiered it at whatever local brewery for the homies, you know. Yeah. But it's not like it used to be. Where
you sit down for 45 minutes. And
not where the riot squad's out there because the Baker video came out or whatever. Yeah. You know, it's not like that. Or they'll do an online video premiere just to get more followers and hits. You know, so.
That's cool.
Sign of the times, different to run a shop, and I'm sure I'm going to be learning next year for sure, even more, you know. Yeah. But same with everything; it just grows and evolves, you know.
Well, it's cool, man. I haven't seen, you know, obviously I got to see a couple of demos with some of the pros and stuff, but I kind of grew up with more of the Hueytown crew, and so I was really good friends with Alan Poole.
Oh God, and he was my last savior.
He was
my Alex so Spinosi at the right time, and I had him primed up, dude. He was incredible.
He was unbelievably talented.
Yeah.
And that unfocused part that he did was just so cool. And then just to see him, you know, I was just honored to even get to hang out with him because he was getting noticed and he was getting really good.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was running around with him and, you know, like Kyle Hudson.
Yeah.
And
that was my second
Josh
week.
Harbison.
James was the first one that stayed with me every weekend. And then after that, it was Kyle and Alan stayed with me every weekend and really put the final nail in my marriage.
Just crashing on your couch all the time.
Just always there. Yeah. So, yeah, dude, those dudes are awesome. And, man, I got an old mini DV camera, and I'm going through old tapes right now and trying.
I'm sure you've got a ton of footage.
Yeah, I'm trying to find all the gems. I've been finding some awesome stuff. I'm gonna start putting out like some old raw throwback stuff. You know, since our 25th year.
Do your Beagle tapes?
Yeah,
that's
right. Yeah. Like
unedited.
Like Beagle's doing or whatever. You know, just some fun stuff. But I haven't figured out how to get it off my computer yet. Even the first clip. So that's where I'm at with that.
All right.
But it should be fun.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, dude, this has been awesome, man. Thank you so much for coming to hang out and you know, just the skateboard community in general. I think we all owe you a huge thank you just for everything you've done for skateboarding. I owe
everybody for keeping me alive this long, or keeping it alive this long, because I wasn't going to quit.
But I don't think, I think the community that we have and kind of the scene that we have or have had over the past 25 years since you've been open, probably, you know, would be very minuscule if not for all the hard work and things that you've done.
Yeah, when I look at like Birmingham-esque cities like Montgomery or Tuscaloosa, like their skate scenes are far smaller. Sorry to say,
definitely.
They don't have like the camaraderie and the whole like ton of history or people that really stuck it out. So like I do fully believe skate shops mean the world like to certain.
Well, I can tell you
to the skate community.
There's several generations of kids that just bleed Faith Skates.
Yeah, you know, like when I was listening to the podcast you guys did with Ryan and Baby J, y'all kept bringing up just old skate stuff, and I was like, and on all ends, you know, Baby J was at that demo in Vestavia.
Yeah,
I was like, what?
Well, when he started talking, hanging with Dustin Dolan and tattooing and stuff, I was just like, what?
Exactly.
I was like such a fan.
I vaguely remember the Volcom dudes being here. I don't freaking know. That's awesome. I didn't realize like so many intertwined things, you know.
Yeah.
But it's cool. Small community, small world still, but it's I will say we've probably formed some people's lives, hopefully for the better.
For sure,
for the most part, you know.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I wish you all the best going forward. And
thanks, dude.
We'll have to get you
I think
back
we got it.
some other time.
Keeping overhead low, life easy. So.
Cool.